Welcome to the Rings Talks podcast, again with myself, Anthony, and Sultan, and we are here to cover all things and events, and what's been a very interesting start to 2025. Yes, 2024 was fantastic, and, to crown it all off, we had the Ring Magazine award ceremony. We also had a fight to start the year off between Jaya Pattaya and David Nika. We'll get into that. But also, we have some interesting news surrounding a certain Tyson Fury. The search party was out, but it seems he's been found, so we're going to get into that. And then, of course, we had the Batavia Bevo press conference today to really kick off what is going to be another phenomenal year for boxing.
Cool. So let's talk about the Ring Magazine award of Daniel Dubois as a starter point.
Yeah,
what did you think about the knockout of the year?
So, there was a few contenders. There were actually a few good contenders, but given the magnitude of that fight between, obviously, of course, the homecoming of Anthony Joshua after hosting a few Riyadh season events, to then come and then obviously be dispatched by Dubois in such fashion, it was always going to go to Dubois. I thought we were going to get when he went up for the speech, I thought we were going to get his famous, are you not entertained? But, he was rather composed. So, it's interesting to see. It might just be now we're coming into, February shortly. He's finally starting to take Joseph Parker seriously. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Okay, and what did you think about the Tyson Fury announcement, especially at this time, because of the Bivol and Beterbiev fight coming up?
It's an interesting one. Before this, obviously Tyson wasn't at the award ceremony. Tyson Fury, after the defeat, understandably so, was extremely quiet. There was also the, a certain Tommy Fury that was supposed to be taking part in the Misfits card coming up later this month. Tommy Fury pulled out of that fight for some interesting circumstances, and it just seems that the Furies went underground and under the radar. And now Tyson's come out with this very timely announcement. You had Anthony Joshua, who just recently came back from Nigeria, and
who basically asked for him specifically, like hunting
Tyson Fury. He was hunting him, and he could smell blood. I think if this fight is to be made, or it was going to be made, it would be prime. There is a question surrounding, Fury. Is he at his best? Does he still have it? Is he, slightly on the decline in comparison to, Joshua and Usyk? And it just seems that this was a very timely one. So I don't know whether this was a money play, because it could be, Tyson Fury, he is, a prize fighter, as he seems to remind us. He's gone from being, the best of an era, the best of a generation, no mother born from, or no man born from, can ever beat him, and he's been beaten twice. But it just seems that now, he's in between stages, and to go against, I just don't think he wants to lose to Anthony Joshua.
This is seventh or eighth announcement of retirement.
Yeah.
Why do you think he keeps saying that, and why do you think he keeps coming back? And also, do you think that there is an amount? I think everything has a price. Do you think there's an amount that would guarantee getting back? I think there is.
Well,
who's going to say no to 100 or 200 million? But
there's a man's pride, but then there's also a price, and Tyson Fury, considering his recent, talks and whatnot, he's always, referred to himself as Mr. Laid and Mr. Get Paid. So he, there is a price. I'm sure there is going to be a price. It's probably, if he is to take that fight, it's going to take an astronomical figure, but Riyadh season does pay out, and it's still a very, it's a huge fight. There's still bragging rights. You have to remind yourself, right? Tyson Fury has lost twice, but he's never been stopped. So if Anthony Joshua could be the one to stop him, it throws Joshua into contention. So I don't think Fury would take a pay cut to take that kind of risk. So it's going to be very interesting to see.
He did say that it would take $500 million
yeah,
to get him back.
Yeah.
Do you think that figure would be would they pay that amount? No one's had that type of money.
Well, you know what?
Other than Floyd,
I don't think we're going to get to $500 million. Could we get? We won't even really get close, just because the stakes are not the same. I understand it's still a huge fight, but because Riyadh season is Riyadh season and the Saudis are involved, you've got Gervonta Davis asking for 150 million to rematch Ryan Garcia. I think there's still got to be a sense of reason. Definitely these guys deserve, the money that they're worth, but I don't think we're going to get up to $500 million on that fight. And if they do, the game is forever changed. So it'll be interesting. But you know what? He has retired several times. He has come back. I just don't know if this time it might be for real. I could be wrong, but the thing is, no one knows Tyson Fury better than he knows himself. And anyone observing the last 2 fights that he had, particularly against Usyk, this isn't the Tyson Fury that we had 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And he knows that we don't know how their bodies break down through camps, etc. They're going through cuts, injuries, repetition. So it is a tough sport, and he might just be like, you know what? He's made a lot of money anyway. So, I know he's got like 12 to 13 kids or more. Who knows? There might be another one on the way. But, it's going to be interesting. But I think Fury might be back for just one more, because we do want to see that fight. The British fans want to see that fight, and I know they're lining up for Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr., but that pales in comparison to Joshua versus Fury 100%.
And do you think, what do you think Anthony Joshua's path is this year? Who do you think they will put him up against? If Fury doesn't work, and if Fury does work, because he did say that he wanted to fight a lot more.
Yeah.
Last year he could have fought a lot more, but he didn't.
Yeah.
That's what you saw in the interviews that he had in Nigeria. What do you think?
In the award ceremony, it's funny because I don't know if you saw the pictures, but Joshua was squaring up against everyone.
I saw the one with Bukole. Was it Bukole?
Bukole's on smoke, but Joshua was also on smoke. And I don't know if you saw the exchange, the little handshake between Daniel Dubois.
No.
Dubois, he's a character, because he's literally looking you and he's trolling you, because he's on a high right now. But
he's like disrespectful.
you
Because
definitely saw,
he's 10 years younger, and then trolling him on top is just,
But you can see in Joshua's eye, he wants that one back. If it was me, and I can understand the fighters, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night unless there's certain fighters, right, that they lose a fight in whatever fashion, and they accept it. I believe deep down Joshua feels that he made a few mistakes and he can undo and right that wrong. So should give or take whether or not Dubois, if Dubois beats Joseph Parker, then he may just very well go on to fight Alexander Usyk for undisputed again. We'll get into that another time. But should he lose, and then, say they line up Joshua Fury, then maybe towards the end of the year, if Joshua comes through that fight, we could get the rematch between Dubois and Joshua. And Joshua did say that he wants 3 targets this year. That is to, get one back on Dubois, to hunt down and slay Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, and then also to become a 3-time heavyweight champion, to become to put himself amongst an illustrious group of heavyweight champions, to do so in history. So that's the plan. He's pretty much laid out the roadmap for us.
If he does that, it would be crazy.
Oh, incredible!
He can do it. He can do it.
He can do it, and they're all vying for it. That was what Fury was also vying for. I think you've got Joseph Parker on the verge of becoming 2-time. So it's easier said than done. Trust me. In the heavyweight division, it only takes one. There is no foregone conclusion. But whoever turns up in shape. And you know what? Going back to Fury and Joshua, it's still a very interesting fight, because Joshua and Fury, although Joshua, lost in the fashion he did, there were some reasons at play that I believe that kind of led into that. He wouldn't, obviously being the professional he is, he wouldn't make excuses. And then Fury, he looked good even in defeat to Alexander Usyk on the second occasion. He made some improvements. So it just, who's going to be on top? We don't really know who's going to win that fight, but I hope we get to see it. So Fury, do not retire just yet. Give us one more fight.
Please do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and pretty much that's about. But if it is the retirement of Tyson Fury, I've said it before in one of my previous videos, is that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, what they've done for British boxing should not be underrated. These guys, despite all the antics, they've thoroughly entertained us over the years. Yes, we did want to see certain fights, but these guys have inspired and paved the way for a generation of fighters, which we're seeing come through the ranks now. And British heavyweight boxing in particular is in a very healthy place. You look at the landscape. We are set to dominate. Unfortunately, the USA, you've got Jared Anderson, but hopefully, I don't think he's going to be in the ring with Bukole anytime soon. But The one that I would tip to kind of upset a lot of them would be Bacoli. He just seems to be the danger man at the moment. But, it's going to be interesting times. 2025 is going to be fire. And even 2026, the clashes that I can see. You've got the likes of Moses Atuma, who picked up, Prospect of the Year. Don't know if I really agree with that. For me, don't get me wrong, he's a talent, but I probably would have given that award to Abdullah Mason because, it just seems to be a bit of project Atuma at the moment, but obviously heavyweight being the glamour division, they are pushing him, and, there is room for another rising star in the heavyweight scene, so we will see. But otherwise, that's all I've got to say on that.
That's it. And on that note,
yeah, we did have, of course, the Batabiev and Bivol press conference, so that went down. As you know from these guys, both very respectful. A bit more tension. I think there's a bit of a bad taste in, Bivol's mouth after, a loss which he didn't feel.
He's not a postman. I'm not here to deliver a message.
He's not a postman, and Batabiev, he's not the postman, but the message that he sent is be ready, and I'm sure that's going to set up for a good one. There are tons of fights to go through, so we'll probably break that one down on another video. Closer to the time, we might get some of my predictions and even Sultan's predictions, and we can do a comparison and put some stakes as to who gets the predictions right. But set out for a great year. So listen, guys, stay tuned. Peace out.
Beterbiev to win.